On a cold winter night, the movie had its premiere in North Carolina.
Why did you decide to produce a movie about the life of Jesus Christ?
Well, it was a thing that I felt like that would be the most meaningful thing that we could contribute with our lives. It's what our lives have to say. The story of Christ is a story that needed very much to be told, I think, in a way so people could relate to it. Christ was sent to earth as a human being, and if our film has that one thing, it has Jesus as human and believable.
June, you had something to do with starting this whole thing in motion. How did that come about?
I had a dream.
What was that dream?
Well, I dreamed I saw John on top of a mountain holding a book in his hand, and I believed the book was a Bible, and I just told him that dream, and it's nice now to see it in the film.
The people of Charlotte gave the film an enthusiastic reception, but would it appeal to mainstream America? The answer, apparently, was no. Soon, Johnny's preaching drew criticism from the media.
Johnny Cash and his God are a particularly tedious act. Each year, he seems to grow more monomaniacal.
Saul weighed the pros and cons of quitting.
I've kept my running up and my weight is stable, and I'm now going into 2 weeks tomorrow without drinking any hard liquor. I've done some considerable planning for the fall, and the August and September tours are all set up. And emotionally, I'm somewhat confused. Still annoyed that I can't get my office work done, or don't seem to be motivated enough, or whatever. Sahara Tahoe date is just 3 weeks away, which is almost inconceivable. The kids seem to be enjoying being out of school, and I still would like to get out and toss a ball around with them, and just can't seem to do. Just need to reorder my priorities and get up my fat ass and get out with the kids, do things with them. Toss a ball around, get involved, help a little bit around you. Feel guilty about it, I guess.
The only time my father ever tossed a ball to me was for this photo. The bikes and matching jerseys were purchased for the photo shoot. After his customary morning jog, Saul went over to Johnny's bungalow. But he had no idea this was the day he would quit his job.
June criticized Saul for being absent whenever Johnny appeared for free with the Billy Graham crusade. She questioned whether he had something against Jesus and asked Saul if he was only interested in money. Saul told June he considered her remark anti-Semitic. He said he shouldn't be required to attend benefits he had not arranged. And then, giving 5 months' notice, your father resigned.
Managers don't quit superstars, they get fired, right? So it's not surprising that when Saul left Johnny, there were many doubters. Maybe he was about to be fired. Maybe Johnny really did see Saul as Caiaphas. I thought my father's resignation marked the end of the Saul and Johnny story, but I was wrong. In the fall of 1974, my father enrolled at the University of Western Ontario. His majors were history and English, but one of his electives was comparative religion. Had Johnny gotten the wrong idea? Maybe he thought Saul was, in fact, on the road to Damascus.
Saul, there is one question that burns in our minds. Do you believe that Jesus of Nazareth is the Messiah, as prophesied by the Old Testament prophets? Do you believe in his divinity?
Johnny, I can't honestly answer your question about Jesus at this time. Years of sounding off about things I haven't fully investigated has resulted in a need for a mental catharsis.
2 years after my father's resignation, Johnny invited our family to stay at his mansion in Jamaica. June left this poem for Saul on his pillow.
For Saul, dear Lord, in your book of predestined, preordained, if it's not there, I wish you'd write down old Saul's name. Back when excuses had to fall, it was Saul who took the call and looked you straight in the face and followed Johnny every place. In bars, honky-tonks, and ditches, old Saul caught the heavy pitches and threw them back just as hard. He fought to keep John in the yard.
Good evening. I'm Candy Yates. You aren't associated with Mr. Cash anymore, or on what plane is your association?
I don't want to sound corny, but I gave Johnny up. Johnny didn't give me up. This is something that skeptics question, because I don't know of any similar situation where someone gives up an act. No, I left Johnny voluntarily. I wanted to go back to school. I got out because I wanted out so I could rebuild my self-respect and be my own person again.
Following the gospel road, Johnny's career went downhill. He only had one major single in the next 10 years. In 1986, Columbia Records would drop Johnny Cash.